The more you get to work with a child or young person, the more you're building a rapport, creating a positive and trustful relationship. And within that, you understand how they behave and what they're like. You might therefore observe a change in that behaviour, or a child or young person could tell you something that's worrying them. This might not necessarily be a top child protection concern, but you do need to know what to do with that, and that's why your policies and procedures are really important. It might be that you make a note and you speak to the parents. If it is a child protection concern, you need to take that down the formal route, and that's when your policies and procedures kick in, so you know exactly what to do.
There could be numerous things that might raise a concern that something's going on for the child or young person that you're tutoring. They could become withdrawn, or their behaviour could become challenging. They might not be as motivated in your sessions as they have been. They might be late for your sessions, or they might not even turn up at all. You might find that they're particularly tired, or they're complaining about not sleeping well, or they might seem anxious or upset. You could also notice a child or their parent or carer saying or doing something that raises a concern with you. Or the child or young person might have a physical injury that's unexplained.
If I had to identify a concern, the first thing I'd do is get to know that child and really build a rapport with them so that you can notice any differences or any changes in behaviour. So for example, for 3 weeks in a row on a Monday session, I might have a member that's always happy, but then one Monday they might come in and they're looking quite down or upset. And then the next thing I do is look for their physical appearance to see if there's any changes there. So for example, there might have been a mark in an unusual place or something which I would immediately think there's something wrong there, and then I would go on to report that to my manager.
Some children and young people might be particularly vulnerable to abuse. This might be because of an additional communication need, or they might be isolated from others or dependent on adults for their care. When you work with vulnerable children, you really need to consider how best to communicate with them and make sure that their voice can be heard.
I think many of the tutors would agree that when you are tutoring a child, there might be days at school where they're not feeling so well, or it might have just been a bad day at school, or they might have not did well in their maths test, something which they're taking quite seriously, but actually it's not a huge concern in terms of the safeguarding element and that side of things, but that's also something to consider. So you've really just got to be aware and look out for those changes, and if it's noticeable, it will be reoccurring as well, because many of the concerns that you would come across would happen more than once. So unfortunately that is a sad side, but a reality that you need to face and sort of look upon as well.
Of course, all of these signs don't necessarily mean that a child is suffering from abuse, but you do need to be aware of patterns of behaviour that might indicate that something is wrong, and you need to know what to do if you're concerned.